Joining me now to discuss what lies ahead for Israel's government are CBN senior editor John Waage and Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl. John, first to you. You know, some people have described what's going on right now in Israel like a political Rubik's Cube. Tell me, what do you think is next?
I think next is a lot of horse trading and a lot of confusion, all set against the backdrop of a Passover celebration that I think Israelis have been waiting for a long time. I think this is just the opening kickoff, and it's happening right before a week of Passover celebrations. So it's a lot going on behind the scenes, probably some quiet in the media, which will be beneficial to Israelis, but it's going to be a fast and furious trading frenzy behind the scenes.
Yeah, Julie, tell me, what have Israelis been facing lately, and do you see the possibility of a fifth election?
Well, you know, Chris, like John said, Israelis are heading into Passover. So right in the middle of this week, we had this massive dust storm just as everybody's cleaning their houses before Passover. And we had a time change and we had elections. So we had like plenty of things going on this week. You know, and on election day, I had more than one person tell me right after they had voted, yeah, we're going to fifth elections. So I think, and kind of laughing about it, but, you know, I think Israelis it's kind of their nature to just keep going forward. But I think people are pretty weary of this. They're a bit disturbed. We had lower voter turnout. Maybe that was because of the coronavirus. But, you know, people, I think they're a little bit discouraged and don't really see what the way forward is.
Yeah, Julie, I talked to some Israelis too, and they're saying the same thing about fifth election. John, go a little deeper into the machinations between many of these parties, like would serve with who, or who will sit with who. Talk us about that.
Right. Well, first of all, you could have a right-wing bloc formed next week if people would just reconsider their pledges that they went during the campaign. Remember, Gideon Sa'ar, whose party, I believe, ended up with 6 seats, signed a contract on Israeli television saying he would not serve with Netanyahu. If he hadn't done that, if you remember, a year ago, Sa'ar was one of the first people into the building at Likud headquarters on election night. We were all there and we were marveling that there's Gideon Sa'ar. You know, so there is a possibility for a combination of Sa'ar's party and Yamina and Likud, and they could do it without the Arab bloc and form a solid right-wing bloc. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen because Sa'ar's gone too far out on a limb. But what about his party members? What if the New Hope party were to kind of split up? What if Benny Gantz, as defense minister again, would join Likud? What if the joint Arab list, which would have been unheard of years ago, what if a couple members of the joint Arab list, which we understand Likud members have reached out to them, said, we'll split away from joint Arab list and take part in a Netanyahu government. So you have lots of Netanyahu possibilities. And then the center-left coalition is asking people like Naftali Bennett to join them. And so, you know, it's going to be, like I said before, fast and furious trading during the Passover and the days beyond that.
Well, it is the time of Passover, and many Jews around the world are going to be thanking God for the deliverance from Egypt. And right now they're praying, I'm sure, for deliverance from this political plight. Julie and John, first of all, to you, Julie, how can people be praying about what's going on in Israel right now?
Well, I think really it's important to pray that God will make a way where there doesn't seem to be a way. You know, even if Israelis went to a fifth election, like it's like there's no way out. It just like doesn't seem to be a way forward. I would also say pray for humility. I know, you know, in the beginning they said Netanyahu should just humble himself and ask Gideon Sa'ar to come back. And Gideon Sa'ar tweeted today that he should, you know, Netanyahu should humble himself and for the good of the country step down. So, but like people need to humble themselves, not the other person. So I think that's also a big thing. And really that, you know, Israelis won't be discouraged, that we won't have any kind of rebellion on our hands. And like this strife, this constant strife would really be put to rest.
Yeah. John, what do you think?
I would echo everything Julie said. And I would just say, if the leaders could look up, if they could look toward the God that gave them Israel in the first place, that said he would be with them. And in doing that, it's another thing that Julie mentioned, doing things for the good of the nation. There's been such a fight over the current prime minister, over Netanyahu. And if they could just look to other issues, the threats from Iran, the things that unite Israelis more than the political infighting. I know that's a tall order, but it's something we can all be praying for anyway.
Alpha, Omega.